Hi guys, this is Leela. Welcome to my channel leelawebdev. So in the previous video we have seen about the dependency array of the useEffect, right? Let's try to see about the different types of implementation of this one. For example, let's say that useEffect is there. So here if you are having a useEffect and this useEffect will be executed, let's say console.log executed on every render. Okay, so on every render this will be executed. And now if you are having this useEffect of, and if you are having another useEffect, and this will be executed on only console.log executed on mounted or on initial render. Now I will try to use the console.log here, console.log, so executed on every render logic. So this one is outside the useEffect. So these are the things. Now, so let's keep it like this. Now if you try to see the example in the inspect element, okay, so if you try to see the console, so I will remove this one and I will refresh this page. Now here if you try to see here, so executed on every render logic. Okay, so this one has been executed on every render logic, and here there is nothing but this is the first time it is getting executed. I already mentioned you, right? So this useEffect will be fired after the rendering, so this one will be fired during the rendering. So that is the reason this one has executed first, and afterwards it has been executed, this one executed on every render, and afterwards executed on initial render. So top to bottom approach he has failed, and again it has been executed on every render. Why? Because so what I can say is this one is another time, so we know that 2 times it will be executed, right? So because of the strict mode, so that is the reason 2 times it executed, and again it has been executed on every render logic. So again the re-render is happening because of the data we are getting it, set low is loading, set error we are trying to make it, right? Because of that reason, and the set is loading is changed, the state variable, again the executed on every render is fired. So like this it is going on fine. So but if you try to observe on initial rendering only, this is the one which is fired only one time. So this is the only first time it has been executed on the initial render. So after that it has not been executed. So this is the usage of this useEffect. For example, let's say that we are having this search books. So let's try to implement the search functionality of this search books. Now where it is located in the navbar, okay, and here in the search.js. So if I search here, I want to change this data. So this data is present in the app.js. Why? Because so here what I want to do here, I want to fetch the post using a query. So this query should be there. So let's try to make it as a state variable. So here I will make it as a query comma set query use state, and I will use the use state of empty. I will make this one as an empty. So now this is the state variable. Now I will send this one to the navbar. Instead of sending this one to the navbar, let's go to the navbar and copy this search and paste it as a children. It will be fine, right? So I will be pasting this one as a children here, search, and here let's import this search bar, okay, and I will send this query is equal to query, and also set query is equal to set query. Okay, so this is also done. Now we have a query. Let's go to the search.js, and here we got the query and also the set query. So we got these two things, and here I will set this value to query, and here on input, so whenever we are trying to change it, so we will be getting the event set query of e.target.value. That's it. So now we have changed this one. Now let's go into this app.js, and I will remove this all the useEffect. I don't want to use it. Just I want to show you that how the useEffect will be firing. Now we got this useEffect. Now what I want to do, so if I try to refresh this page, okay, so it is, oh, why it is still, if I try to refresh this page, Now I think no books data available. Why? Because the query is empty. Okay. Now here I will try to search it, monk. So here I have able to search this one monk, but I am not getting any details. Why I am not getting any details? So here what I want to see, let's see the components. And here in our app.js, if you try to see here, so the state is getting updated to monk, but we are not calling it. And now what we need to do, so whenever we get the data, okay, so whenever we get the data, so here what we need to do is, so here whenever we get the data, we need to re-execute this fetch post again, and fetch post will take the query and it will try to run it. So here in order to get the fetch post, so whenever this query state value is changing, then it needs to rerun this fetch post. So what can we do here? We have learned in our dependency array. So I need to mention the query. So whenever the initial render it will find, and also whenever the search query is there, whenever the query state get updates, then also it will run. And here we are getting an error, cannot read properties of undefined, reading 0. Let's go to the format book response of 0. I think this for some of the data, this one we are not getting, I think. So let's try to add a condition in such a way that if it is there, why? Because that one is an ISBN, so we need it mandatorily. Now I think whether we will be able to get it, I think. So let's try to refresh this page. So we are getting no books data available, okay. And I am trying to write monk here. So here I am getting the data, but still we are able to see no books data available. So why is this causing this one is, so why? Because here we are setting the error and we are not making it as a false when we empty when we are trying to call it again. So here what I can do is I can call this set error of empty the first time. So we need to reset all this data. Now we are able to see this data. See monk, we are able to get the details of monk. Now if I try to see the network, and here in the fetch XHR, if I try to show you, and here let's say that I will try to search Ferrari, okay. So here you will be able to see all the things got searched here, payload, and we are able to get the Ferrari and everything. Now everything is working fine. Now what I want to do is, so initially whenever I am calling this one, so something like Lord of the Rings, if I try to search Lord of the Rings, so Lord of the Rings, so we are able to get this all data, right? So all the time it should not be searched. So what I want to do is, so here I want to write in such a way that if query dot length is less than 3, if it is less than 3 or less than 4, okay, then don't search for one, don't search it. So that means I can make this set error of empty, or otherwise we can leave it. So I can return it, okay. So or otherwise we need to fetch the post. Now let's try to check it here. So if I go to M here, O N K, now we are able to get the details. So for the first 3 letters we are not calling it. So then afterwards we are calling it. So this looks somewhat pretty fine, right? So this is how we will be using this use effect in order to implement the fetch post. Now we have completed our search box also in this one. So now the search box, everything is working fine. Now what we need to do is, so when I click on this book details, so I need to show these all the book details here at the right side. So let's try to implement this one in the next video. Hope you understood about this concept. So what I will try to do is, I will commit this code in a new branch, that is nothing but 61. So our code is right now video-61. So why? Because the previous video is a slideshow. So video-61. I will try to commit this one. So search box implemented, and I will commit this code. So whoever may be having doubts, if they want to refer the code, so the GitHub repository link is provided in the description below of this video. So you can go there and you can refer to the code. And if you have any doubts or any suggestions, please post the comments below to this video. And if you like this video, please do support me by subscribing to my channel. Thank you.